Good morning, everybody. Okay, we're gonna be doing a quick recap of the things that have happened since I started benchmarking, in regards to drivers, enhancements, and all that, and the things that are about to happen in the coming, I would say, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let's put it worst case scenario at the end from now till the end of February. Okay, so like a full month there. So it's gonna be most about Proton and the technologies behind it in AMD cards. Okay, for us, like in my case, I have a 4090 Nvidia, and everybody that's Nvidia, this is gonna be a short video. So basically, I'm gonna tackle Nvidia first, since November 28th had all this um, updates in regards to the 525.60 driver. If you recall, several of my videos I actually was suffering from like half of these things here. So this was a very welcome update. Okay, the 525.60, and then we evolved to the 525.78, which I was actually having rarely, but I was actually having, oh, I would say almost all of them. Mainly this one, Jesus, for the Steam games. This one actually happened to me, and this one actually on the 4090 again. So those got fixed. No worries there. And then lastly, I was also on here. I was actually only having this issue. The other ones never had them, but I was only having this issue. Actually, this one it did happen to me. I did the workaround, which is like a give it some permission to a folder there or something like that. But yeah, I was having this one. So I would say that all the issues I was having mostly in November and December up to now, they're fixed. I haven't had an NVIDIA issue for a while. Not only that, but I'm also able now to, without changing permissions or doing something else, I am able to change the fan speed, okay, without having that, fail to set fan speed kind of thing here. You'll be able to see visually here, temperature going down. I don't know if you can hear the fans. They're not loud, but um, I can hear them now. They're like there in the background. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of nice. Anyway, okay, let's do that. And I'm also able to overclock. I did learn that you can't do like 200. Let's do it. No, you gotta go little by little. So maybe 25 by 25 or 50 by 50, and you start growing it like that. There are games that also, by the way, it's not just typing it and then you click somewhere else. You gotta press enter to overclock. And same thing here. You go little by little, and you test a very. You could do a benchmark, or play a game and you play it there. I did test it with Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk did get to the average max was always, I think it was 2,860 megahertz, and I was able to get it to 2,900 something before Cyberpunk froze and it died there. The system didn't die, it just the game. So we stopped the Steam game there and put this back to 0, but it could be different for you guys, okay, if you start testing. That's all that I can say about NVIDIA. Now, by the way, G-Sync here in my monitor is, I don't know what the hell this is. Aorus, this one? Oh, a gigabyte. Okay, so it says that it has gigabyte and all G-Sync. I mean, if I enable this, there's no performance lag, input lag, lower FPS, or higher FPS for that matter. I tested this at 4K and 1080. Same thing. It's the same thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for if I enable this. I don't know if it's working. I do know this. If you enable it here, and let me show you. If you enable it there, and you go here to the display port, it says this G-Sync mode available, G-Sync unvalidated, but it's actually enabled. And that's basically uh, the only way that I know that it's enabled there. Let's disable this puppy. Oh, okay, so with NVIDIA out of the way, continue. This next couple of weeks, probably next week especially, we're gonna see huge changes for everybody that's gonna be AMD, okay, in the video cards. If you do recall the last video that I did like 2 3 days ago or something like that, it was about how do you can set up NVIDIA, I mean AMD, the last video cards there. Those rules typically apply for if you're in December, everybody that went through all the December mess after the cards launched. So you had to either update the firmware, update the Mesa drivers, install some additional things there. I cover everything that I've learned over the past 2 months in regards to that about AMD cards, the latest AMD cards, 7900 at this particular case. But all those things are going to mostly not apply. You most likely won't need that after next week. If your distribution, Linux distribution actually gets up to date. Why? And let me show you. Okay, let's start with everything regarding Steam. So GameScope has been doing a lot of neat updates. You can actually follow it through here, tags here, and you can see that they've been doing a lot of updates. Okay, about mainly compatibility. Um, so I recall that there were several issues with it, either on some particular games, and all those, or at least most of them, actually got fixed. And you will notice that all these projects that I'm about to show you, they're basically working together. At some level or another, they're all sharing, helping each other in one way or another. So we got GameScope, and pretty sure people on AMD are gonna love this one. Okay, so that's one there. Stay tuned for recent release of GameScope. Then we jump to Glorious Eggroll with a Proton GE. If you saw, 45, 46, and then 47. This has been mostly updates based on the DXVK changes, and they've been rolling with this super fast. Okay. Um, I did see a little bit of improvement with FPS comparing experimental at some point versus uh, GE. Obviously, they're gonna be more or less be tied, but it's something. If you're using GE, then you know what I mean. The updates are coming or are going to be coming soon, especially because all of them are based on the last ones that I'm going to be commenting on. So there's super huge improvements that are coming either next week or in 2 weeks from now. Okay, to more or less give some headroom there in regards to when they'll have time to push the changes. But it's next week when the first one, with the big one, Mesa 23, comes out. Um, let's go to Proton Up QT. Okay, if you've been using it, it's working great. Basically, see here. Okay, it helps you install on Steam um, the GE version there. Actually, for others, but for me, it's just like I click here, it detects the latest one. There we go. I install it, and now if I open Steam and I go to a property of any of the games, to compatibility, I'm able to select it immediately there. But by the way, it's not just GE. So you see others here. Okay, I installed this through Flatpak, but it's super easy and very comfortable to use. So they're also going to be updating. We got the DXVK, the NV API there, and they did an update recently, actually 2 days ago. Yeah. So here's the update. I was actually able to talk to the go here to issues. This is, by the way, this is a very important update, especially because of the DXVK 2.1 that's going to be coming out. I did ask, I don't know where the question is. Oh, I think it closed the question. Uh, the by time. Well, I did ask actually this one. So I asked because you know that bunch of parameters that we had to put if this was still needed, this and that, and the creator actually commented that out and actually mentioned really excellent feedback about all of this, especially this one. I didn't know about this. Um, so they confirmed this is still needed, but there's other parameters that we don't actually need anymore because they either got replaced or not needed anymore, um, or this only applies to a certain group of games, which he mentions here. Okay, you can see that um, the DXVK, basically that one is now enabled automatically for a bunch of games. Which games? Go here, and basically if the game that you want to play, this one's all enable NV API automatically. Okay, I got Dying 2 there for testing. Hitman 3. I also got that one there. Spider-Man, you see both. We got RDR2 here. You can see it. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider and the Rise. And I think that, at least in my case, those are the games that I have. I don't have the rest. But all this in Portal. All this actually enable NV API automatically. For others, you can force it, but he actually made a clear point here. There's some specific games that if you enable that one, they break. So I'm gonna be testing that out, the performance about that. Maybe comment on them. Okay. So this one is also doing an update. And then we got the DXVK that I was talking about. So they got version 2.1. Look at that baby. Look at that baby. HDR support, or at least the beginning of HDR support in general. Here's a parameter, by the way, if you want to test it on your end. Basically all the rules there and blah blah blah. And for the game scope, guys, here's the parameter for that one too. And this group of updates, that's gonna be amazing. Here are all the updates and fixes, okay, improvements, especially for AMD and users. So I'm pretty sure AMD next week or 2 weeks from now, it's gonna be the benchmarks are gonna be amazing. And this is coming from somebody that has an Intel and an Nvidia card. So I'm rooting for AMD CPUs and AMD video cards to go wild on Linux to see their actual performance power. So let's go here. Here's the VKD 3D Proton, and you can see other more amazing work from this guy, Christian. So I don't know if there's gonna be a version 3 or a 2.9, but based on the work there, some magic is gonna happen either next week or in 2 weeks from now. Lastly, Proton, they updated to the 8, I believe, 1.8, which came out recently, and I'm guessing they're syncing or waiting for specific work to be done on the other projects that I just mentioned, so they can push them all here. I don't know if we're gonna be looking at Proton 8 or something, okay, but that's gonna be a huge jump, especially because this type of jump is not backwards compatible, okay, with other Proton versions. So there are new technologies added here, and you might get to a point where, um, to play a specific game, um, it's better to use the latest version against. You know that I don't know if you guys know, but on Proton, there's specific versions that work better for a specific game. So in this case, the new technologies will only work on Proton 8 or whatever it's going to be called and up, because there was a lot of effort in specific type of changes that are not backwards compatible anymore. Based on Mesa, uh, Mesa came out with this 3.4. which I don't know if it's gonna be the last one for the 22.3 version here, but 23 coming out next week. Worst case, in 2 weeks from now. They're holding it back for Intel Arc video cards, and there's a couple of things there, especially for the gaming, and I forgot what else. There was a couple of things that were holding Mesa 23, mostly just for gaming, and mostly for Intel video cards and AMD video cards that are gonna be rocking very soon. For the people that have been checking Mesa for what the past 15 years, then you know about mesamatrix.net. Uh, I've been checking this out, well, yeah, for more than 10 years. And look at this baby. I want to show this because it's more of a historical kind of thing here now for me. Look at that. If you remember this, we were 80 something here, and here was like 25 or less. Okay, and look at all of that now. So it's 100% cover um, for basically AMD and Intel and Mesa in general at the 4.6 level, by the way. And here Vulkan is amazing, just amazing. This is very cool. Okay, I'm super happy. I'm hoping to come back here and just see 100%, 100% on both. And look at the speed. Look at that speed. Updates of the updates everywhere. So I'm I'm hoping that by the end of this year, we should be seeing 100% on both. And anybody that gets a video card from either Intel or AMD, the moment that they get it, it's the moment that immediately it's supported. They don't have to wait, or they don't have to do workarounds like the video that I did back then. So that's what I'm hoping. For the Nvidia open source version, yeah, let's see how it's gonna be at the open source level at the end of this year. Okay, without needing the proprietary version of it. If you go to Wine, so again, Wine launched version 8 now. If you've been like me, you've been using the development mode, so basically there's no change because you've been experiencing the changes overall. But they put a release note, which is basically the whole year um, of what they did here. But do note that they've been working for, or I was gonna say 5 years, but they were working for 4 years here to converting the basically everything to the PE format. So now, well, actually, you can see here what the effect of that is. This, if you've been checking all the updates from one, you've always seen, well, we converted this one to the PE format. We converted that one to the PE format. We converted that. At last, they finished, and this is a big congratulations to the whole team. And there being a lot of huge changes over the past, let's put it like this, 4 years since they started this whole concept of where they're trying to head with, especially gaming. So Wine 8 is a huge, huge accomplishment. Okay, I can't imagine what's going to happen in 2023 before 9. So because if you read, you saw that Wine 8.1 started adding more uh, technology in regards to gaming, in regards to, if I believe, Vulkan and DirectX 12. So that's pretty cool. I'm also a maintainer on Wine, so if you happen to, these are the games that I maintain. So if you happen to have any of these games and you want to test it out and send it over, we would really appreciate that. So we have proper feedback about that. Okay. Lastly, and because somebody challenged me, I'm gonna be testing Arch Linux with Cyberpunk and a couple other games. Same hardware. I'm gonna be using. Let me show you. So this one's the Ubuntu one, which is a SN850, and I got an extra SN50, which is where I'm gonna be installing Arch. Let's see how it behaves, compatibility, performance, all that. I'll be installing Steam there, and yeah, we're gonna be doing a couple of videos with Cyberpunk, and let's see the performance between Ubuntu and Arch on 2023, in the beginning of 2023. Okay, because I've been checking other performance, if we can call them that, performance related. Like, let me just put it like this, like Arch versus Ubuntu performance. And I checked a couple here. This one, like, you get my point. These are not performance benchmarks kind of thing. Even if you type performance benchmark, you still get misleading posts like this one. That this is not, it's not the comparison that you're looking for. This is which one's better, and by the way, both are. Um, but the oldest ones that I've seen are this one, and we're talking years ago. So this was in 2010, and they tested, you know, compression, encoding, etc. Okay, a couple of games at that time, and basically the runaround was it's the same thing, but obviously whoever has the latest of something might either have improved performance or a bunch of issues. Okay, on Ubuntu it's slower for the updates to arrive because they target personal users, but they're also more stable. That's why they take longer. In Arch, you have multiple options of how you want to do it, but the more bleeding edge ones, they get the latest one. Obviously, they always not always, but they always get the newest versions, which could have issues. Okay, and it could be in performance or something. Obviously, they'll get fixed faster, but it's there. That idea of you want to have the bleeding edge of everything, you'll need to also know that it might cost you something, a performance hit or something. In the case of an error or something. Okay, so I won't be doing like this. I will be doing a video, and we can compare the Arch Cyberpunk 4K with an Nvidia 4090 benchmark versus the other video. Okay, yeah, that's it. So hope you like this video. We cover all the new technologies that you, AMD, and Intel users are gonna be getting in a week or two from now. And how easy it's gonna be. Just install the video card and you're done, basically, at that point. Um, and yeah, and then we'll also be knowing in a future video the the difference in performance between both. Right now, I'm gonna guess the following: they're gonna be the same. They're gonna be the same. There's not gonna be a huge difference. That's my hypothesis right now. I'm gonna assume that that's what's gonna happen. Let's see. Okay, because remember, I'm an Ubuntu user. Advocate for Ubuntu and all that, but we gotta see how Arch Linux is gonna kick ass or something. Okay. Thank you. Big hugs and think positive. Bye.